And whose names are you talking about? So now we say all the names that we are talking about belong to Parmeshwara. Okay? A name has a function of identifying the object for you. Now in this room there are several objects, but when I am going to say banana, you will reject everything and then you will be able to identify only one object. You will reject the TV, the fan, the AC, the table, the mats, the couches, the people, the various things kept over here, and you will identify only one object. So, what is the function that a name does? When you say that this is the name of the object, that identification process begins by cutting off all the other things. So when you say banana, it means it is not an apple, it is not an orange, it is not this tablecloth, it is not the table. So the process goes on making the things linear, cutting it off, limiting it, and then finally your buddhi, your intelligences arrive at one point, and then you say this is banana. You see? So what did the function, or what was the function of the name, was to limit the object and show you. Right? Not this, not this, not this, not this. This is banana. So by having rejected 1,000 different things, you have come to what it is. Then when you have found this particular object called banana, one very important thing that happens is that this banana is limited in time and space and as an object, isn't it? Limited in time in the sense that there is a particular date on which it was born, there is a particular time, date, place where it will be destroyed. So then, that object which is identified by the name becomes limited to time and space. What is the function, what is the actual function that the name has done is to show you something which is limited in time and space and as an object. Isn't it? Name, our request is that put your phones on silent mode for some little time. That it shows you the object which is limited in time and space. Now, if you have understood in the way how a name works, whose names are you talking about, whether you say Vishnu or you say Shiva, or Ram, whatever, Krishna, you are saying that essentially that name belongs to the one who is not limited in time and space. Ananta Vastu. Okay? That what is limitless. By definition, how does the Upanishad define Parmeshwara? Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. How is Brahma? How is Parmeshwara? Anantam. Anantam means that what is limitless. Anantam. अनंतम कैसे चलेगा? How will you, व्युत्पत्ति कैसे होगी इसकी? How will you do the व्युत्पत्ति grammatically? नान्तम नहीं करेंगे हम, we will do it in बहुव्रीहि. अंतम विद्यते न यस्य. नान्तम करोगे तो it will go into absence. Huh? Hey, when you say eternal, you are referring only to time. And when we say it is limitless, it is not limited only in time, but not limited in space, not limited as an object, not limited with any attributes. You understand? So if you are going to say only eternal, your eternity is also just in reference to time. You see? And when you say eternal, you at the same time are going to say parallelly existing with time. So then you find two eternals, the time and that what is available in time and running parallel with time. That is not what we call as Brahma. And that's why if you are just going to say eternal, the very whole purpose is defeated. It does not serve the purpose. You see this? What is it? What is Parameshwara? We are going to say that what is Anantam. Okay? Antam vidyate na vidyate yasya. Antaha yantam, both. Anto na vidyate yasya. Now, that what is Anantam, what have you done? You are taking the trouble of giving it a name. The moment a name is uttered, what happens? It becomes limited. And what is it that you want to point out? That what is not limited. You see? Wherever the word is going to be used, wherever the speech is going to be used, wherever the name is going to be used, it definitely shows you, brings an object to your intelligence, but that object is limited in time and by time, space, attributes, etc. And what is this Parameshwara whose names you are uttering? That what is Anantam. So then you will have to say that what is Anantam cannot be shown by the speech. You cannot have any name to it. But without using the name, you cannot even have the knowledge of it. Knowing process, the cognition takes place only when a name is used. Without the use of the name, even cognition does not take place, and therefore you have a dharma sankat over here. What is that sankat? The sankat is, if you use the words, the object becomes limited. That what you want to know cannot be shown by words, and that something which has to become known has to be essentially shown through words. And therefore now you have a problem that what is the function of this nama? And not only one nama, we are saying there is Sahasranama. हो ये तो हद कर दी. That what is Anantam. Then somebody comes and says that what is Anantam will have Ananta names. That what is Ananta will have Ananta names. To have Ananta names, every name then will become limited, and is Anantam a congregation of finite objects or finitude? No, that what is Anantam is one, Ekam. It is not a collection, it is not an addition, it is not an addition of many things. And here, therefore, the word has to do the job of showing you what is Anantam. At the same time, the word cannot function in the same way that it usually functions. How does it usually function? By segregating the object, by limiting the object. That is how, now this is how we have to do. Over here we are talking about two names. If there are two names, then they have to be synonyms. And if there are these two names out of which if they are not synonyms, then one has to be right, the other one is wrong. And third thing over here we are saying that though both of them are not synonyms, yet both of them are correct. And therefore now you have a whole lot of contradictions to resolve. When you are talking about to explain Sahasranama, I said, you know, it's an hornet's nest. Pull out. You see now, how then are you going to resolve this complex? That without using the words, knowledge cannot take place. That what you have to know cannot be shown by words. And therefore words have to be used. And whenever the words are going to be used, that what has to be shown cannot be shown. Now, what to do? Now, what to do? Because in knowing Parmeshwara, the dukkha hani takes place. This is our pratijna. What declaration? In knowing Parmeshwara, the dukkham is mitigated altogether. Okay? So what is required? To know Parmeshwara. Brahma vidapnoti param. He who knows Parmeshwara goes beyond dukkham. Tarati shokam atmavit. Vit means the knower. The one who knows. The one who knows goes beyond shoka, beyond every form of suffering. And therefore we want to know. How does the knowing take place? Through words. But wherever the words are used, there is this problem that the words will only be able to show that what is limited, and that what has to be known is Anantam. And how then therefore can it be shown? Some people come to a very easy conclusion and they say, no, that Parmeshwara is shown only in silence. Maunam vyakhya prakadita parabrahma tattvam yuvanam varsesthante vasadrishiganaihi avritam brahmanishthaihi आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीढे. Then they come, no talking, only silence. In silence what will happen? Nothing will happen. You will keep quiet, that fellow will also keep quiet, and then nothing. But then we thought that Mauna Vyakhya, the Vyakhya is, there is an eloquent silence. Oh, eloquent silence. What is Sri Krishna doing on the battlefield talking to Arjuna? He could have said, Arjuna, keep quiet, I am transferring knowledge, okay? Data transfer is taking place. No, don't talk. Nothing. 700 verses Sri Krishna is talking. Right on the battlefield. And therefore, the meaning of the word silence also has to be understood. Okay? Now what happens is, when you say, use two words for the same object, okay? Like gold and the chain. Gold and the chain. Presently you are saying it is the same thing. But gold is not something which you created. Chain is something which you have created, isn't it? Chain is something which you will get, which can be destroyed. Gold is not something which gets destroyed with the destruction of the chain. Nor is gold something that is born along with the birth of the chain. So gold exists prior to the chain, and gold continues to exist even after the chain is destroyed. And therefore now you have two distinct things. One which has got birth and death, and another one which you have found does not have birth and a death. We can talk in these terms. Is that okay? Okay. So you have two things. Because their characteristics are so different, therefore you will have to say they are two different. One that is birthless and deathless, and then there is another one which has got a birth and a death. Chain banaya, chain, you melted it.
Become gold again.
Whether there was chain or no chain, gold remained as gold even before. Gold was gold even when it was a chain, and gold is still going to be gold even after the destruction of the chain. And therefore you have one which is changing, and there is another object that is changeless. When I say this is gold, so the object is gold, and then you say this is a chain. So we are using two different names for the same object. If you are going to use two different names for the same object, then both the names have to be synonyms. But can you treat gold and the chain, these two names, as synonyms? Because essentially you have found gold is something that was not created or destroyed by the goldsmith, but chain is something that is created and destroyed by the goldsmith, isn't it? So you have two things, but when you go over there, you do not find two different things, but you are able to see one, and you point out this is gold, this is chain. And therefore now the question comes, if there are two different names and if they are not synonyms, then what would be the situation? That either of them has to be correct, and the other one obviously is wrong. Also correct, or should we say less correct? Essentially, it is gold. Essentially, it is gold. Presently, you have chosen to call it as chain. At this moment, you have chosen to call it as chain. Next moment, tomorrow, it may not be chain, it will be a lump of gold. It will be molten gold. It may be just a lump. It could be another ornament. You see? And therefore, we find that there is gold, and in this gold, you have chain, earring, necklace, every ornament that can come from the gold. And therefore, to this object, you can call it an earring, you can call it a necklace, you can call it a ring, you can give it several names, but there is only one object which is present, and in spite of giving several names, it is not wrong. In spite of giving it several names, it does not become wrong. This is what we are talking about, Parmeshwar. All these names and forms that we have, this entire world of names and forms are existing in that, and therefore every name, every form belongs to Parmeshwar. Though there are different names, two names may be totally opposite. An earring is not a necklace. Necklace is not a nose ring. Nose ring is not going to be your belt. Belt is not going to be the crown. And though every name is different, with a different function, yet it is not wrong. Ultimately, all the names point out to the gold. Gold, which is the essence, which is the truth, which is the Atma of the ornament. So every name and form, which is now, the chain, the crown, etc., the essence of that is this gold. And that gold has all the opposite names, and yet can be pointed out through all the various different names, opposite names, and yet it does not become wrong. Like that Sahasranama. The word Sahasra over here just does not mean 1,000. The word Sahasra means actually endless. It means endless. All the names belong to Parmeshwar. Through all the names, ultimately, what is shown and what is referred is this Parmeshwar. And therefore, we have this Sahasranama. Okay? In the Upasana, in the form of devotion, which is scripturally sanctioned, there are 5 limbs, out of which one limb of the Upasana is of chanting the Sahasranama. Whichever form of Parmeshwara appeals to you or comes to you through the tradition, whether it is Shiva, or whether it is Durga, or it is Vishnu or Shri Krishna, now that form is invoked through these 1,000 names. So whenever you do the Upasana, these 1,000 names are chanted. Okay? These 1,000 names have to be chanted. Like that, there are other things. Along with that, the Kavacha is there. Along with it, Atharva Shirsha of that particular deity is there, that has to be chanted. stotras have to be chanted. So like that, Sahasranama of every deity is also there, which becomes an essential part of the scripturally sanctioned form of devotion. Okay? Then we have several Sahasranamas as told. Shiva or Vishnu. And here the question is, how did the Sahasranama come into being? What is the beginning? What is the history? And I will give you a little idea. In the Yajurveda, there is a portion called as the Namaka. Okay? Rudra Ashtadhyaya is there. Bhagavan Shiva. Now over there in the Vedic passage of the Shukla Yajurveda, Bhagavan Parameshwara is referred as Rudra. Okay? And then a portion, one chapter amongst those 8 chapters is called as Namakadhyaya. Because at the end of every sentence there will be Namaha, 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 Namaha. Okay? And hence it is called as Namaka. There are these almost 300 names of the Lord in this Namakadhyaya. The idea of propitiating Parameshwara through various names springs from this Vedic passage of the Namakadhyaya. The 1,000 names, because over there Bhagavan Shiva is referred through various names, even by saying that you are the one who's the leader of dacoits and robbers. Generally you would say if there is a robber he should be, or a dacoit, he should be put behind bars. But for an upasaka it is said, now for him whatever is good and bad in this world, everything is seen as Parameshwara. In his eyes, now everything is seen as the Lord. There is nothing like good and bad for him. What is his vision? His vision is that of everything over here is Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. And in order to bring that vision, now there are these various names which are given. The Vishnu Sahasranama, which is one of the most famous ones, popular ones, comes from Mahabharata. Even Shiva Sahasranama also comes from Mahabharata. There are various scriptures from where you are able to derive the origin of these Sahasranamas. It so happened that after the battle of Mahabharata, Yudhishthira was extremely restless. He somehow was not able to pacify his mind. He was not able to come to terms with himself that so much of life has been destroyed, so many people have died. People whom he loved have died, and ultimately the kingdom has come, but so much loss of life has taken place. And any sensitive person, any mature person will feel that sorrow, will feel that pain. And if someone dies or some number of people die and the cause is you, then it starts gnawing upon your conscience even more. And especially a conscience of a person who is more conscious. So this thing started gnawing upon Yudhishthira's conscience, as so many people have died. He goes to Bhagavan Krishna and says, Krishna, I am somehow not able to digest this idea of so many people dying, so many women becoming widows, so many parents left without their sons, so many sons who are orphaned because their fathers have died. Children have become orphans, women have become widows, parents have lost their hope, and this is what the war has brought. I am not able to digest it. Please tell me something. Because he had seen that Arjuna's grief was removed by Bhagavan Krishna through his words. But Shri Krishna knows one thing, that you can become receptive to knowledge only from a source that you respect. You will become receptive to the knowledge only from the source that you respect. If the same thing is told by someone else whom you do not respect and trust, you will not become receptive to knowledge. You will reject it. And that is one of the things that we also should know, that knowledge or whatever that you want to impart, you may love the person. It could be your husband, it could be your wife, it could be your son, it could be your daughter, it could be your parents, it could be your neighbors, friends, whosoever. But when you are going to give something that is valuable to you, that knowledge which is valuable to you, to the other person, thinking that it can become useful to him, impart that knowledge only if he is going to respect it. Impart it to him only if he has asked for it. And if you are going to give it just because you love that person, then also be prepared that this knowledge that you respect, that you value, to be rejected. The other loss that will happen is that when the person whom you love rejects the knowledge that you value, in return you will also lose the value for that knowledge. And that is the reason why be very careful. Be very careful to whom to impart the knowledge. Just you love someone and that other person also loves you is not enough criteria. This is not enough. It's not sufficient. The other person should ask for it, and then only should it be given. Then you become. So Shri Krishna knows that Yudhishthira will become receptive to the knowledge only when it will be imparted to him, not by me, because for him Shri Krishna is also, though he respects Shri Krishna and loves Shri Krishna, but more than Krishna he would respect and love Bhishma. And Bhishma is lying on the bed of arrows waiting for the death. You know the story of Mahabharata. He is waiting for the appropriate time, the Uttarayana, to come so that he can release his pranas. And at that time, Shri Krishna tells Yudhishthira that come, we all will go to Bhishmacharya, Pitamaha Bhishma, the wise man, the grandsire of Kuru Vamsha, of this Kuru dynasty. Let us go and talk to him. And there Yudhishthira says, tell me that by which my heart will be pacified. Tell me that by which, knowing which, the sorrow, the grief that I am experiencing will be removed. And thus Bhishma begins the Vishnu Sahasranama. Okay? That's about one. Like that there is Lalita Sahasranama, Shiva Sahasranama, and then the style in which these names are revealed to us is always in connection with one guru or a revered person telling it to the deserving person, deserving disciple, student, on request from the student. Please know that Shri Krishna is also Arjuna's Sakha, friend, best friend. But he comes to impart the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita only when it is asked. And Arjuna really asks for it only on the battlefield and never before that. And therefore Shri Krishna says, whatever you have asked for is so important that even this battle can stand still. The drums were playing, the battle has already been announced because the conches were blown from both the parties. It means that the battle is declared open. But Shri Krishna says that it can still stay. It can halt, it can be suspended. But answering your question is important. He says that this discussion, this knowledge is that important that even the battle can stay. If it is so important, Shri Krishna, why did you not tell me before? If this is something so important, you should have had told to me much before. We have been together for so many 50 years, 60 years we have been together. Why did you not impart it? And the obvious thing is because you have never asked for it. And therefore this is how the Sahasranama is given. Whether it is given by Hayagriva to Agastya. Lalita Sahasranama is given by Hayagriva to Agastya Rishi. Over here it is Bhishma giving to Yudhishthira. So on and so forth. There are various characters. But it always will be from the higher source to the lower receptacle, disciple. This is how the Sahasranama goes. So now you have understood what is Nama, the name, the function of the name. Though name defines something that is limited in time and space, yet the Veda has used the words, the name, in such a way that it has the capacity to reveal even that what is Anantam. Okay? There is a way in which it is revealed. And not only that Anantam is revealed, it is revealed to you as that what is Anantam is this Atma. That what is Anantam is Atma.
So basically many ways to the info. The names are all different ways to the info.
You cannot say different approach, way, paths are not many. It is only one. When you say it is many or Anantam, it really does not work. I will tell you the flaw. It sounds very nice that Parameshwara is Anantam and therefore there are Ananta ways. Somebody says that God is infinite and therefore there are infinite approaches to God. Okay? Paths, infinite paths to God. When you say path, it means there is some distance between you and that what has to be reached. And therefore there is a possibility of having a path between you and the destination. Okay? Therefore, that distance is there, and that distance denotes that there is a path. There is an approach, there is a path. Okay? It means that. To what are you saying are these different paths? Saying that what is Anantam. Now look at the logical fallacy in this. It sounds very nice. Just because something sounds nice does not mean that it is right. There is a fallacy. And the fallacy is that what is Anantam, that what is infinite, then is available to you now, available to you here, and is available to you as yourself. That what is far away in time, that what is far away from you in space, and that what is different from you as an object will have a distance, and that distance can be covered by a path. But that what is Anantam, how are you going to cover the distance? Because it is here now as yourself. Then which path are you going to take? And you are going to say that there are Ananta paths. And therefore the Shruti says that this Parameshwara is attained through knowledge. Because that what is Anantam and that what is already attained remains unattained to you only because of ignorance. Only because of ignorance. And ignorance can go away only with knowledge. Therefore here is Shruti, the Upanishad, the Veda saying, Jnanad evatu kaivalyam. That this is Kaivalya, is this moksha, Parameshwara. How? Jnanadeva. In knowing that, and therefore in order to know, there is speech. And that what is spoken is Sahasra. And in that process, what is revealed is this Atma. This is the whole story of this Sahasranama. Okay? Then the second part of his question is that I should talk about, he wants to hear about Kathopanishad. Okay? Basically, Upanishad is that part of the Veda which reveals Brahma. Upanishad is that part of the Veda which reveals Brahman. But why should you want to know Brahma? Why would a person even want to know Brahma? What would happen if you know Brahma? Will you get a job? Are you going to find a bride or a groom or something like that? Will you get a bigger house, a bigger car by knowing Brahman? Or you will go to Swarga? I was there just about few days ago at the Dallas airport. And then somebody came to me and he said, Jesus loves you. this big, huge white man. I said, very nice. Very nice. Nothing, bad. Jesus loves you. I said, loving anybody is good for someone's health. If you are a loving person, obviously it is good for your health. It is good for him that he loves me. No, don't you want salvation? I said, no, I don't want. The whole discussion gets cut. Salvation would mean that somebody is required, you are required to be saved. Like save the tiger. In India we have the save the tiger. Because it is endangered species. Save it. Salvation implies, the word salvation implies that, don't you want salvation? I don't want to be saved. I am not an endangered species. What do you really want? What do you really want? So everybody has got a big list of desires. And then you say, prioritize your own, wants. What do you finally really want? You keep on saying that this is 1, 2, 3. But we are also saying that what every person truly wants is only one thing, and that is he wants to be fulfilled. He wants to be, he or she, okay? It is not he. He wants that person. Now this is the limitation of the language. What can we do? I cannot say it wants to be fulfilled. And every time to say he/she is too much. He wants to be fulfilled. A person wants to find that he is fulfilled. He lacks nothing. He complete, satisfied, Purnam. That is what he wants to find himself as. And I want total annihilation of dukkham. I don't want dukkham at all. I want sukham. And that sukham is Purnam. This is what I want. Right? Everything else that you are doing is only with the idea that it will give me fulfillment. That it will give me some satisfaction is the only idea behind it. But why do you want to be satisfied? Do you have a... why do you want a car? So you say that, well, so that I can be proud, I can show to others that I got a bigger car than them and a nicer one. And then what will happen? It feels nice. And then by feeling that nice, what? I feel fulfilled. But why do you want to feel fulfilled? You have no answer. Why do you want to be fulfilled does not have answer, because that is the basic quest. And questions which don't have an answer are the nature. Why is fire hot? You can say, why is that vessel hot? Because it was kept on fire. But why is fire hot? This appears to be a question, but does this question have an answer? Question which does not have an answer cannot become a question. It cannot be treated as a question. If it is a question, it means that it has to have an answer. If there is no answer to that question, it cannot be in any which ways treated as question. Why do you want to be fulfilled? Whether you are Indian, you are Chinese, you are what do they call it? Poor or rich, educated, uneducated, man or woman, everybody's quest is that let me be fulfilled. Is not that what you are intrinsically asking for? That I want to be fulfilled. And this discovery of fulfillment, this discovery of finding that you are complete, you lack nothing, is not unnatural. In fact, this